Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Hi viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Learners Podcast. Today we are going to have a pre-webinar talk, and this is part of our KSA series, the knowledge, skills and abilities. With me in the talk today is Mr. Zeeshan Rahat Kureshi. Mr. Zeeshan Rahat Qureshi is the founder and the CEO of the High Achievers Leagues. He is an experienced educationist, having the more than 22 years experience, and he is having the 7 years experience of United States Education Foundation Pakistan, also known as the Fulbright Commission Pakistan, and he is certified Education USA advisor as well. And he has done the MS in Information Systems from the United States, and also he is MBA. So, Mr. Zeeshan, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
Sir, thank you very much, sir, for giving the spending time for us, sir. So, okay, basically our purpose of conducting this talk is because you are going to conduct the seminar, or rather the webinar on the kind of the orientation on the GRE and the Fulbright. So before that, I would like that my viewers and my students, they know about you and your activities and what is the importance of this GRE and the Fulbright. So I think we should start discussing on the GRE first, that what is the GRE and who should take it, and what is the format of GRE. So this is my first question, sir.
Thank you so much, Musa Saab. So GRE is Graduate Record Examination. So this is an international standardized test that is taken by students who want to apply for master's or PhD in the United States. So students belonging to any country who want to apply for higher education in the US, they go for this test, and they can get registered for this test through the website of the organization that runs this test. We'll talk about it later. And basically, the basic format involves English and math. So the math that gets involved is the same kind of that we did in our 10th or 11th year of education, and some basic English skills and essay writing.
Okay, so this is, I mean to say, if we are familiar with other tests as well in the Pakistan, like GMAT and SAT. So how you would differentiate these with the GRE?
So GMAT is the Graduate Management Admission Test. That test is focused towards students who want to go for their business studies in the US. So GR is more general than that, but students should know that with the passage of time, more and more universities in North America, they are also accepting GRE for MBA. So now there are a lot of universities that accept both GMAT and GRE for this exam. So GMAT and GRE are not much different actually. So GMAT also involves math and English and essay writing, but their focus is a bit more on the analytical side, on the business side, and GRE is more general. SAT is the exam that is required when students want to go to US for their bachelor's. So you can say that GRE is a level more complex than SAT, but then SAT also involves English and
might be more universities are, I mean to say, they require GRE. I mean to say,
most universities require GRE, and even for some specific scholarships that we'll talk about, they also require GRE.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much, sir. So one thing that you have told me that this is for getting the admissions and getting some scholarship opportunities in United States. And is this for only United States, sir, or any other country as well, if anyone is passing the GRE?
This is a good question. So GRE is accepted in US, in Canada, and some top-notch universities in UK, Australia, Europe. Sometimes they also require GRE. So it's not exclusively for United States or Canada, but it's mostly required in US and Canada.
And GRE is kind of you can say a skill kind of aptitude test, kind of aptitude test. And if we compare it with the IELTS, that is specifically for the English. And the one who is passing the GRE, he has to pass the IELTS and the TOEFL and all these things as well. That is a separate from this.
So IELTS and TOEFL, they are mostly language exams.
Language exams.
And GRE and SAT, these are aptitude tests. So for example, in GRE, what they are testing is they want to see if you have the ability to be a master's and PhD levels in the US, and if you can cope with those complexities. So you can say GRE is a little more complex than IELTS, and it also has math. But if someone does well in GRE, then probably in all probability he'll or she will do well in IELTS and TOEFL as well.
That's great. Okay. So how much is the cost of the for taking this test?
The GRE, the cost.
Okay, $205 in Pakistan.
Yes.
Okay. And one thing I want to tell that my viewers are also watching this episode from the Nigeria as well. So some of the students has communicated with me, and they were waiting for this program. So also I want that if you have some information for their benefit as well. So it's mean that $205. This is for the Nigerian students as well, or only for Pakistani students?
I'll have to check that. Okay. So basically, in Pakistan, it's $205. But we can check out for Nigeria what the fees there is. Okay. So I can check that.
It depends on the exchange rate of the dollar with the currency of that country, I think. So,
yes.
All right. So is there any other advantage of taking this GRE test?
So students who want to apply directly in North America, they take this test. And then the scores are sent to the specific universities where you're applying. So that's for students who are applying directly. But then those students who want to apply for Fulbright scholarship from Pakistan, for them, again, GRE is required. So they are not required to take IELTS, but they are required to take GRE. And those students who get selected later, they are also asked to take TOEFL. Okay. So one advantage of GRE is that the scores are valid for 5 years. And if you are applying directly, then you may as well apply for the Fulbright scholarship as well.
All right. Okay. Okay. Well, I have another question. That is there any age limit for GRE, sir?
So there's no age limit for GRE, okay. But generally those students who want to apply for masters and PhD in North America, so they are applying for GRE. So generally, it's useful for those who have already done their bachelor's and now want to apply for higher studies.
Okay. So anyone, generally in Pakistan, the students who get admission in MS and the PhD, they generally, GRE.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, and there is no upper limit of the age as well for the people like me, sir.
Yes, so, there's no upper limit, and
what is the passing? I'm going to say passing. You can say scores for the people of my age group.
Basically, the average score in Pakistan is around 300. So 300 is considered to be.
Can you explain this? 300 mean?
Yes. So the total GRE score is 340. And the average score that generally Pakistani students get is 300. So one surprising thing is that there's not much of a difference in English and math scores of Pakistani students.
Okay.
And one reason for this may be that we are trained in English to some extent in our schools, in our colleges.
Yeah, from the day one, English is being taught in our schools. That might be the reason.
Yes.
So only the thing is that the student who is keeping himself up to date with these things, so they can easily pass it. There is another question that if someone starts preparing for the GRE, how long one has to take? How much time he has to he needs for preparing for this test.
So it really depends on the current at the current level that the student is at. So it may, require some students to prepare for around 2 to 2.5 months. There may be students who already have a very good vocabulary and who may be able to prepare very well within 1 month or 1.5 months.
Okay.
So generally speaking, it takes somewhere between 1 to 2.5 months to prepare for the exam. But the first thing that a student should do is to take a mock test, because the mock test tells you about your current level. And then according to your weaknesses, your strengths, then you can prepare for the test after that.
Okay. Generally, of suppose, let's say in the Pakistani scenario, there are students who are from the Urdu medium background, and there are the others are from, who has passed the O level and A level. So my personal, my perception is might be the students who are from the Urdu background, they might need some difficulty. They might have some difficulty in preparing the English vocabulary and this section. So what time they should start preparing for this test before?
So those students who may be at a disadvantage specifically due to English, especially those who may have not had English courses while they were studying. So obviously, then they need to work a bit extra on the basics of English. So for that, I would say they may require a couple of months more. So they should start preparing as early as possible so that they reach at least a basic level, and then they can start, preparing for GRE. So vocabulary is very important. So, and vocabulary is something that even helps you in your general life. So the better vocabulary you have, you're going to perform well in life anyways, and your communication skills are going to improve. So one of the advantages of these tests is that they help you improve as a person, as a communicator. So yes, some people may have some disadvantage, but again, the more practice you do, the more hard work you put in. This is not something impossible. We have seen students from interior Sindh, interior Balochistan taking their GRE, going for scholarships directly or through the Fulbright scholarship program. So they should not worry about that. Basically, we do have a 6-week GRE class in which we prepare students through a rigorous method through which they can get prepared for the English as well as for the math section and also for essay writing. So we generally have 2-hour class every day from Monday to Thursday, and mostly it's an online course. So we have students from all over. So in that case, we can help out students. And as you talked about the fact that how can they get prepared while they are studying in the last semester. So again, the same thing. They should get hold of, there are books out there that help you prepare for vocabulary.
Okay.
And even there are some apps out there. For example, if you go to Google Store or the iPhone store, you'll have a Magoosh app, an app with the name of Magoosh, MAGHOOS. So it's an app that has flashcards for vocabulary and different ways to prepare for GRE. So there are books available, there are apps available that students can use that can help them out before they actually,
basically
get a book
these
and start
students
preparing.
should keep themselves in touch with the preparation for the GRE into that direction.
Yes, they
because
should.
I have seen this
So
thing,
that
I have seen this thing in the case of the CSS and the institutes here in Islamabad. I've seen that they offer the weekend trainings. So that for the longer period of time, and the students. I know one of my students, and she has spent more than a year there. While during the graduation, and she was getting the guidelines from the teachers there. So in this way, I think that similarly, because GRE is very important. The Fulbright scholarship is a big scholarship. So just they need to be, because this is my understanding that GRE is not that. It's not that easy that you take it very informally and just go and appear it, because the high fees is involved. And the preparation should be proper. There should be the proper preparation for these tests. Okay, that's good, sir. So I think this is enough for. And generally, who is the registering I mean to say, who conduct these tests here in Pakistan?
So the organization's name is ETS, Educational Testing Service.
Okay.
And their address is www.ets.org/GRE.
So one has to register himself there.
One needs to go there and get registered, get a test date. But, mostly deadlines for US universities will be starting from December and January. So it's very important that students who do want to apply for US education, they should send their GRE scores and they should send in the applications by December. So this means we are only left with 2 months. And with your permission, I would also let the students have the website address of our organization in case they want to get in touch. So it's www.haleague.com. So if you want to get in touch with us regarding admission counseling or regarding the email, they can do that.
Yeah, I will also add this address in the description of this video as well.
Sure.
Okay, sir, let's come to the Fulbright. So what is the Fulbright scholarship and why this is so popular in Pakistan? And I would like you to tell us about that.
I had the opportunity of working in USEFP, United States Educational Foundation in Pakistan, which is also known as Fulbright Commission, for 7 years. So I worked there as principal advisor test prep. So USEFP was set up in Pakistan in 1950. And since then, they have been training students they have been selecting students to go to the US for higher studies. And scholars have been coming to Pakistan to teach. So one huge advantage of Fulbright is that it's fully funded. So if those students who get selected for the scholarship, they don't have to pay the tuition, they get living stipend, they don't have to worry about the books, their insurance is covered, and they get an airline ticket for going to the US once and for coming back. So it's fully covered, and it's a great opportunity for students who want to specifically for US.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir. So, what is the selection criteria for the Fulbright for students?
Fulbright is a scholarship, and to get selected for Fulbright,
is there any test to get the Fulbright scholarship, or on the basis of GRE one can get?
On the basis of GRE in Pakistan, on the basis of GRE, you get selected for Fulbright. But then, it's very important to note that GRE is not the only criterion. So there are 4 or 5 things that contribute to your final selection, like your past academic record, your extracurriculars, the recommendation letters. Then you have to write 2 essays within the application. The application should be complete itself, and the GRE. So all these things, they look at your application in a holistic manner, and all these things contribute. And one of the important contributors is, of course, GRE.
Okay. All right. Okay, sir. So, what is expected from the student who has just completed who studied on the Fulbright?
So, those students who get selected for the Fulbright scholarship, one requirement from them is that the amount of time that they spend in the US to complete their degree. After completing their degree, they should come back to Pakistan and spend time here for the same amount of time. And then after that, they're free to go if they want to go abroad to work or to study further. So it's totally up to them what they want to do.
Okay. Okay, that was enough for us. That was comprehensive information we have received from you regarding the GRE and the Fulbright. Okay, well, let's discuss our coming orientation webinar on the GRE and the Fulbright. Just tell us what you are going to do in that webinar, sir.
So I'm going to introduce the Fulbright scholarship, what it's all about, and how one can prepare.
Basically.
Yes. So how one can prepare to get that scholarship. And besides that, we are also going to talk in detail about GRE, about the format, about the kind of questions that you can expect in verbal, in quantitative, and the general essays. So talk about those things in detail.
All right. Okay. Okay. So also, sir, tell us about about the organization that you are running, the Higher Achievers League.
So I founded High Achievers League with the aim of helping students from all over Pakistan specifically, and from any other country who want to go to the United States for higher studies. So basically, there are a number of services that we provide. For instance, we train students for GRE, for GMAT, for SAT, for IELTS. Besides that, we also have admission counseling for those students who want to apply directly to the US and Masters and PhD.
You also guide, I mean to say, in certain universities to them, recommend certain university to them based on after interviewing the students, you can recommend the certain universities for them. Is it, sir?
So based on, we are not a typical agent in the sense that we are not, connected to any specific university.
All right.
But based on a student's profile, his or her interests, we match students with the best possible programs and universities. And try to find funding for them and help them in, filing these applications.
So you work as an education advisor kind of.
Yes.
You're not specifically attached officially any university. That's good.
No.
Okay. So, okay, Zeeshan sir, it was excellent. I want to say it was really very knowledgeable for me, and definitely it would be for my students and all the viewers who are watching this here in Pakistan and also in Nigeria. So, thank you very much, sir. So, looking forward to see you in the webinar. So, so viewers, if you have any question, I will be sharing the link in the description of the video. So if you want to ask any question from Mr. Zeeshan regarding the Fulbright, regarding the GRE, so you may just send me the question. I will forward those questions to Zeeshan sir. So okay, Zeeshan sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.